everyone, welcome back to the channel. Um, as you guys know, I promised you a series of videos with tips on how to answer the interview questions for a pharmacist position. Um, so I decided to just go through and do them, even though I'm not in my office at home. I am actually in my car now. I have a few minutes to spare, and I thought it would be handy to tackle one of the questions. One of the questions that would surely pop up in an interview, and it's usually the opening question, would be, "Tell me about yourself." Now, when you're in an interview, you have to realize that the person who's interviewing you, whether it's the pharmacy owner or a manager, they're not there to find a friend. That person is there to find um, a pharmacist that can fulfill their needs. They're there because they need someone in a position which now is empty and they want it filled. And they want someone who will basically work for them. Um, and they're looking for specific qualities in that person. They don't just want anybody working for them. So when they're asking you, when they're saying, "Tell me about yourself," they're not asking you from a friend's point of view. They're asking you from an employer's point of view. So don't get all casual and say, "Oh yeah, well I like to walk in the park for 2 hours, read a book, and watch the sunset." Um, you have to give an answer about yourself as a professional. So you have to say things that describe you as a professional, not as a friend, not as anything else, but a professional. So think about it from the employer's point of view. Think about their needs. What do they need? Why are they employing someone? Why would they employ me? What do they need me to do for them? If you think from their point of view, the the whole situation changes. Um, and think about it. What does an employer need when they're looking for a pharmacist? What are they? What do they want that pharmacist to? What skills are they looking in? How would they like the pharmacist they're hiring to be as a person while they're at work? So if you had a pharmacy yourself, or even multiple pharmacies, and you were hiring you needed a pharmacist in one of your pharmacies, what would you be looking for? Would you want to hire someone who's grumpy and coming to work, um, demotivated and demotivating the team and hating what they do? Or would you like to hire someone who's actually passionate about what they do, who's motivated, and you don't have to keep motivating them in different ways? So I think one of the first things you should say, one of the points in your answer should be, uh, because they're looking for someone who's passionate about what they do, is you have to emphasize that you're passionate, and you have to actually be, not just say it. You have to be passionate about what you do. If you're not, don't say it. Just skip to the next tip I'm gonna give you. Don't lie in the interview. Don't say I'm passionate about what I do, and then you go grumpy to work. So actually be passionate about what you do, and say that in your answer. Like, I'm gonna give you a full answer at the end, where I link all these points. But definitely one of the points that you should go through in your answer should be, I am passionate about what I do, because that's what an employer is looking for, someone who's passionate about their work. And what else do they need when they're looking for a pharmacist? Put yourself in their shoes. A pharmacist needs to be accurate, and because if they make a mistake, the wrong medication ends up in the hands of a patient, and then that could be disastrous. So any employer is looking for a pharmacist that is accurate in their work. And they're looking for pharmacists that follow procedures. So they're looking for someone who is accurate and follows procedures. Um, like airplane pilots, when they fly commercial airplanes, they have procedures, so standard operating procedures. Short, they're called SOPs. So they have SOPs for everything, for checklists, for taking off, for landing, and whatever they do during the flight. In the same way, pharmacists in Ireland have SOPs, standard operating procedures, which will be given to you to read and sign on your first day of job. On your job, those standard operating procedures cover everything. There's an SOP on how to put through the prescription in the computer. There's an SOP on how to gather medication off the shelf. There's an SOP on how to dispense methadone. There's an SOP for absolutely everything that is done in the dispensary. These SOPs are done by the superintendent pharmacist in collaboration with the supervising pharmacist, and they are tailored to every um, store in particular. And when when you need to change something, you think the SOP is not, could lead to errors or is not as it should be, you just bring it up to your supervising pharmacist, and the supervising pharmacist brings that up with the superintendent pharmacist, and they might change the procedure. Procedures change all the time. There's no bother in that. Um, but yeah, they're looking for someone who is accurate and follows procedures. Um, and you need to bring that up as a point in your answer. Um, the next point, the next thing they're looking, the next quality they're looking in when they're hiring a pharmacist is so they need a person who is constantly learning. Um, they need someone who's constantly learning, because you don't want your advice to be outdated in 3 or 5 years. Uh, Pharmacists have to go through CPD, so continual professional development. Anyway, so you need to do a certain amount of courses per year just to keep updated with everything. But they would like that to be your initiative, not you know not they wouldn't need to push you from behind. Do this and stay up to date. They're looking for someone who is constantly learning and you know uh, keeps up to date with everything. It's not that I'm a 45-year-old pharmacist, but my advice is from 20 years ago, and I haven't done any research if it's still valid or not. Um, so definitely bring that up, that you like to constantly learn, um, because it's one of the things they're looking for in the person they want to hire. And the next thing you want to bring up is that you possess strong relationship building qualities with the team and with customers. So the last thing that an employer wants is someone with a big ego that is not a team player, um, that thinks he's above the customer because he's so smart and the customer doesn't know anything. He's the smartest one in the team, and he's a pharmacist, and he's up in the clouds, and everyone else is down on earth. If your attitude is like that, you will most likely not get a job. And if you do get a job, and they see that attitude, you will probably be out of your job pretty soon. So if you are a team player and you do possess relationship building qualities, make sure you bring that up in your answer, because it is important to them. Um, So if you have all these qualities that I've just mentioned and you bring them up in your answer, uh, this being the first question that pops up in the interview, it will be making a great first impression. Usually, they make their first impression by your first words, the small chat that you have at the beginning of the interview, and by the answer that you give to the first question. So I popped all these through all these points into an AI, an artificial intelligence computer, just to see how what a fancy way of answering the question they would give me, and this is the formulation they came up with. But you can bring your own, you know. You can you can say it in your simple words. I'm not sure I would say it in these fancy words, but um, yeah, I would say it. I would say it maybe a little bit more simple. But for those of you that want like a fancy answer, this would be it. I am extremely passionate about pharmacy, and in particular, um, providing the right advice and medicine to patients. I am accurate and methodical in my approach to all tasks, and I will always pay attention to detail whilst following strict rules, procedures, and regulatory guidelines. Exactly what I was talking about. I take my professional duties seriously, and I will always maintain competence by keeping updated with developments for the pharmaceutical and healthcare industry. I possess strong relationship building qualities, and I will always take genuine interest in people's health and well being. And another, and so I put it through AI twice, and I asked it to rephrase it just to give us a couple of options. And you could say, I am deeply dedicated to the field of pharmacy, especially in delivering appropriate service, appropriate advice, and medication to patients. My approach to all tasks is precise and systematic, and I prioritize attention to detail while adhering to rigorous regulation procedures and guidelines. I take my professional obligations seriously and continually enhance my knowledge by staying informed about advancements in the pharmaceutical and healthcare industries. Additionally, I have excellent interpersonal skills and foster strong relationships with colleagues and patients alike. So these would be the two answers that the two um, fancy answers that you could give in your interview. Um, I hope this helps. You can say it in your own words. You don't have to make it so fancy. As long as you cover all these points, you'll be fine with answering this question. So, with this being said, my thought is that through my company, all the pharmacists that were interviewed, they have passed their interviews. Largely because the pharmacy owner knows that they are getting training uh, prior to them coming to Ireland, and after they have arrived in Ireland, they know that they're getting support from their peers, and thus they're accelerating their learning curve. Um, they know that they have a mentor, and they know that they're well supported. So if you have prior training, if you have training prior to coming here, and which my company provides, you have a base of knowledge about the Irish system by the time you arrive. And when you arrive and you use that theoretical knowledge in your new practice, you're going to advance way quicker than someone who's arriving in Ireland without knowing anything about the way pharmacy works in Ireland. And then um, that makes the pharmacy interview easier because pharmacy owners talk to each other, and they know that my company has placed pharmacist with someone else, and they ask, like, if I'm a pharmacy owner, I will ask the other pharmacy owner, how's your pharmacist doing that you hired through this company? And they would be like, oh yeah, well, great, because they had prior knowledge about our system when they arrived here, and then they picked everything up real quickly because they had support, and their questions were answered by other colleagues, and um, they had a mentor, they have friends here that help them. So um, because when like if you don't know the way my company works, we offer you a lot of videos on all the systems and all the way of work in pharmacy in Ireland, because it's totally different than any other country. So your theory will be up to date. You do this while you're in your home country. You don't have to um, while you're registering with the PSI, getting ready for your English exam. So you learn everything that you need to know in theory, and then by the time when you arrive here and start working, you will be included in a WhatsApp group with dozens of pharmacists um, with 5-10 years experience in Ireland. And when you run across something in the dispensary that you don't know about or you would like to ask someone about it, you can just pop a question in our WhatsApp group and you will get instant responses from experienced pharmacists. Um, so you can ask any questions there. You will have me as your mentor. I'm one button away. You'll be able to text me directly, um, or call me every now and then and ask me something. Um, yeah, you will be well supported in that matter. So the pharmacy owners that I provide my services to, they know that. So that I had pharmacists that only had 2 or 3 questions in their interview, and they got the interview, they got the job, and they called me after the interview and said, I got the job, but I don't think everything was right because they only asked me 2 or 3 questions. And I was like, yeah, I know, because they ask me more questions and they ask other pharmacy owners more questions. So they just want to have a small chat with you, see that you're, a pleasant person, you're okay for them to work with you. And the rest is, uh, you know, they know what to expect. So if you want to get in contact, leave a comment below this video or join the Facebook group in the description of the video. Um, you'll have access to a lot of information that I post on the Facebook group. Um, and yeah, when you enter the Facebook group, I will see. I need to approve your entrance in the Facebook group, so I will give you a friendship request, and we can become friends on Facebook, and I can actually be in direct contact with you there. So hopefully I provided value for you in this video, and I will see you in the next one. Until then, God bless.
There is a shortage of community pharmacists in Ireland. The main factor for the shortage is that Ireland is not training enough pharmacists to suit its needs. The shortage is being addressed in different ways, among which are proposals to create a new school of pharmacy and thus create more college places. But even if that was approved, it would take 6 years to start producing pharmacists. The solution that would produce faster results would be international recruitment. But pharmacy systems are different in every country, and pharmacists need time and training to adapt. That's not a perfect fit for pharmacists or employers. And the perfect fit is the very thing that inspired the founding of Kamik Recruitment. In the Inuit language, Kamik means perfect fit. So here at Kamik Recruitment, we decided to address this shortage by creating our own school of pharmacy. The founder of Kamik Recruitment is a pharmacist practicing in Ireland after relocating from Romania. After going through the relocating process in a classic way, he decided that he would change international recruitment as we know it, by integrating teaching with recruitment. He personally teaches the European pharmacists that decide to practice in Ireland everything they need to know. Kamik Recruitment has launched a campaign called Pharmacists for Ireland, where pharmacists from all over Europe are being recruited and trained in the Irish pharmacy system. Now pharmacists can be trained while they're in the process of registering with the Pharmaceutical Society of Ireland, so by the time they arrive in Ireland, they're confident and empowered to start working. Now that's a perfect fit for pharmacists and employers. Kamik Recruitment, we find the perfect fit for you.